Hey guys, it's Carol and thank you for stopping by for my stitching update. I have some whips, a new start, a little bit of plans, and a thought on what I'm going to do for my birthday start because my birthday is indeed this month. So my first project this week was Mirabilia's Autumn Queen. Obviously, I've been doing this pretty much every week for the last several months, so you've seen this image a lot, but here's where she was last time. And this is where she is today. I have made it to the very bottom of the piece. In fact, not just on the side with the dark cloak, but I've also brought down the fur trim, mostly. I have to fill in all of this with Whisper, but I am really pleased with how this is coming together. Overall, I even went back and put in some more of the Kryonic that I hadn't done yet. And isn't this awesome? The way that I'm counting it, this is roughly 1/3 complete. Honestly, this little amount of Kryonic in here is going to create a whole bunch of additional completed squares. So I'm really further than 1/3, but that's not my concern at the moment. I'm just really happy that to the bottom. So now, really, if I'm picking where I want to work is starting with the bottom and then just kind of coming back up and completing. So really it's the Whisper here, a little bit of Kryonic here, and then working on the trim on this side. I am, again, still happy with how this was going. I thought I was going to end up doing more this week, but I wasn't feeling it. So guess what? If I wasn't feeling with it, didn't go with it. I think it actually worked out better that way, so encourage you to, if you ever feel like one project is bogging you down, don't do it. Do something else. It's better that way. My next piece for the week is the Prairie Schoolers Prairie Garden, and I know that for plans last week I said I wanted to finish this corner motif. Spoiler alert, I totally didn't. Here's where it was last time. And this is where we're at for today. I've decided these are in fact violets, not pansies. I don't know what made me think they were pansies, but I am about halfway done with the motif. So I'm pleased with what I did with it. I love the way it uses this mauve to go with the purple. It's super cute. Again, I hit a stopping point and said this is where I want to be with it this week, and it worked out great. I do anticipate finishing this week, and I do still intend to get this entire piece complete by the end of the month. I think I am on track for that. I just didn't devote a huge amount of time. It's okay. My third piece for the week is Modern Folk Embroidery's Ave Maria, the Annunciation, and I have been working in the Archangel Gabriel here, and he's looked a little weird in the past, so here's last time. And this is where we are now. As you can see, I have completed all of his head and his hair, so he actually has a figure that looks pretty cool. He does look a little bit like he's gonna punch someone because I need to finish his hand, but at the moment, this is really exciting. Now, best part, this is considered 2% complete in my counting, and it's mostly because a lot of these where I haven't been able to block them off because they cross over into multiple grids. That's okay. It's just funny because I'm like, but I at least see something. A lot of times at 2% on a project it looks like a blob of nothing. This at least looks like something. So really happy. I won't say that I did a huge amount with it, but what I did, really happy. You're gonna notice, I'm gonna say a lot of, I didn't do a lot this time. I have been busy with end of the school year type activities, and honestly a little bit of, I don't want to say burnout, but maybe a little bit of burnout. My sampler for the week is Modern Folk Embroidery's The Fruit of Plenty. I'm working in the January page from this stitch along from 2021. Here's where it is last time. And here's where it is today. As you can see, I've done most of the fruit in this bowl that the bird is standing on. And what I really love about it is how much we're now seeing the lighter color come into play and not just the darker color. Last time there was very little. I mean, the light was really up here. But one of the things that's drawn me to this project in general is I find the very well balanced use of both colors, providing it's not quite a 50-50. There's actually more of the light color than the dark color, but the light color is often being used to create negative space. We'll see that as I get further into it. But I find it very appealing. It is fun to work with. I love these colors. And the only downside is if I keep working on this too much, my eyes do get tired. The 40 count is totally doable. Particularly, I have a magnifier, and I love that my magnifier has acquired a name. They're my Jessica Fletchers, because when I have it on, I also get asked if I am watching Murder, She Wrote or Matlock. These are the jokes I get at my house. But they are so helpful, particularly at night. I do not have great lighting in my house after dark, actually because it makes it easier for me to fall asleep at night. But my lamp is not particularly helpful, so I do need the net magnification, particularly after sundown. So really happy with this one. I didn't want to put it down, wore out my eyes, and then basically spent 2 days wanting to let them rest before stitching again, because I was struggling hard. It's okay. Last week I asked you guys to help me pick out the kit that I was going to start this week, and I very patiently waited until noon on my time Sunday morning, and it was hard because I was done with breakfast at 11. I was totally ready to break into a project, but I was actually going to follow the rules I set. So the choices were between Visit Venice and Summer Symphony, and in a vote 9-6, Summer Symphony won. This kit is has a copyright date of 1994, and it is designed by Aaron Jertner of the Cooler Design Studio. And as you can see, it's just this cute Victorian style house and the absolutely glorious garden associated with it. I spent a couple of hours sorting out the floss because it's guessing sometimes the difference between some of the very similar ones was not helpful, but I did. This is my start. Oh, and look how stiff this Aida is. I haven't used Aida for so long. I'd forgotten, like, fresh Aida in so long that I'd forgotten how it basically can stand on its own. So I am a center starter. You've probably figured that out already. I know I could measure down because I obviously I'm doing that for my stamplers right now, but I find that in a piece like this, I don't know how big of a margin they've given me. I don't really feel like calculating it out, to be honest. It's just almost easier to do a start. So my intent, the actual center is like down here. As you can see, what I'm trying to do is I want to make as far up into the upper right quadrant as possible, and then start filling in and kind of in a diagonal ending over in the lower left. That's my intent, but the problem, and you can't see, like, I have actually a decent amount of white stitches here, and they don't stand out on the white Aida at all, sadly. But I have like a bunch of these rows right here are like 40 some odd stitches across single of white, and I don't really feel comfortable with that yet, because if I mess up at the beginning, it's a lot harder to fix than if I make sure I create a good, obvious, hey, this is where everything is. So I'm using this purple color as the shadow for the gable at the front of the house, and kind of using it for now. So this is really nice. The one thing that I didn't realize, I mean, it doesn't matter. The kit is cute. This is 14 count Aida. It's 2 strands over 1. I have never been the biggest fan of 2 strands over 14 count. 2 strands is perfect over 16, same as if you're doing like on 32 count linen. And I'm really hoping that there is not a lot, particularly with this being white. I don't want there to be a lot of show through from the fabric through the piece, and most of it is stitched. Really the only part that's not stitched is like a cloud up here. Everything else is filled in. So I'll first see how long it takes me. This actually turns out to be a bigger project than I realized when I first picked it out, but I will say, sorting the floss colors, they're absolutely amazing. So thank you guys for helping me make that decision. I will keep working on this throughout the summer. Actually, I was gonna say, so the nice thing is I'm traveling next week and I'm not gonna have anything to do during the day. So my intent is hopefully to like cross stitch my little hands off and have a lot of progress to show you when I get back. So fingers crossed that works out okay and that I have enough room in my luggage to literally pack all of this like fabrics and patterns and threads. This is, who needs everything else? I just need that, you know, to be happy. So on that note, you'll note I said last week that I was going to work on Lady of the Mist as my secondary Mirabilia. I wasn't feeling it. Nothing against this piece. It's a fantastic piece. I just wasn't really even, Autumn Queen wasn't speaking to me. I was almost like what was really calling to me was working on the sampler. Like that's the one that I am someone to spend like all week on. So the idea of having to go find the colors, and I don't really have the floss for this one terribly well organized right now. So I didn't get to it, and that's okay. However, I'm gonna just leave it in the rotation and try to get to it this week. Also, looking at doing Coffee Quaker because I just love the look of this, and then I don't spend as much time on it, and I feel like I could get it done faster than I realize, and I'm kind of feeling like getting some finishes and not just some starts. So maybe, I mean, not a finish. Yeah, well, we're still way off from a finish on this, but the idea of just putting in the time, again, I love it. Like it's minimal colors. There's only 6 of them. And it's so beautiful. Another one that I think would be really good piece for going with my travels, because the floss for this one is super organized, would be Ink Circles Tapestry. It's on one hand kind of mindless, but on the other hand, it is really pretty. So I'm feeling like touching it again. So hopefully I get some good progress on that. And then I will also be switching back to a Family Patchwork sampler because it's the week for it. And that's what I'm planning on stitching. I mentioned I'm traveling, so I'm kind of gonna not restrict myself hugely on the number of projects I take with me. Like, what I don't want to do is be stuck in a hotel room halfway across the country and be like, oh man, I'd really like to work on this piece that's at my house. If only I had, you know. It's fine. I haven't traveled in 3 years now, so this will be definitely an interesting experience. So give it that. Okay, now lastly, I had mentioned kind of as an offhand comment, I can't remember if it was the last video or the one prior to that, my birthday is this month and I'm going to do a new start to commemorate it. Why? Because I'm really just like needing an excuse for a new start, right? And I mentioned that I wanted to do a full coverage piece. I spent hours I could have been stitching, looking on the Heaven and Earth Designs website, looked at Golden Kite, even did a little bit of searching on Etsy, and you know, I just wasn't finding anything that spoke to me. So I realized maybe I don't want another full coverage right now. Summer Symphony has already kind of scratching that full coverage itch for me right now, but I really do want a new start. So what I realized that I want to do for my birthday start is Heartstring Samplery, Consider the Lilies. And I have been really thinking about this particular project a bunch since last time I popped into my LNS, which was about 3 weeks ago. And they have a sample made up of this on the wall, and it is just gorgeous. I love it. I also love his eyes on the sparrow, but in this case, I really want to do Consider the Lily. And in large part, it's because, and I'll just open this up real fast, Beth Twist makes a point of telling you that the saying, the lilies of the field, they neither toil nor spin, is taken from Matthew 6:28. And honestly, it is one of my favorite passages in the Gospels, just because, honestly, I spend a lot of time worrying. Like, that is the thing that stops me so much in life. And whenever I think of that passage about the birds in the field, and the whole purpose of the parable is really Jesus saying, have faith God provides. And that sense of peace is something I'm always looking for. And again, since I saw it at the LNS, I hadn't stopped thinking about it. And it also didn't help. I was picking out mill hill beads that I need for finishing. I think they're the ones for Royal Holidays, what I was looking for. But anyway, so for whatever reason, the ladies up at the front started talking about the piece, and they mentioned like, oh wow, isn't that huge? Well, the one that's on display at my LNS is on like a 36 or a 40 count. I actually can't remember which. But it's big, but it's not huge. And at those sizes, the actual stitched area on a 40 count, it's 18 inches tall and almost 22 inches wide. Well, the owner, at least I think it was the owner, I haven't actually identified all these women yet, she was mentioning that she had seen at market when Beth Twist had it. She's like, the actual one that she did is huge because it's on 28 count. And on 28 count, it is 26 inches tall and almost 32 inches wide. And you know what, y'all? I am going to do it on 28 count because it looks really cool on the smaller size, but the idea of this big statement piece seems to be exactly what I'm looking for my birthday start. Now, you'll note, the only thing I literally have the chart. I've had the chart for a year now. I don't have fabric. I haven't even looked to see if I have the threads for it. Don't know, don't care. I'm not starting it on my birthday, and that's okay. I at least am just knowing that I'm gonna go ahead and source everything, and it'll be awesome. I am so looking forward to this project. It is gonna be amazing. So that is what I have for stitching this week. I wanna thank everybody who stopped and left all the kind comments on my last video. I really appreciate it. I love responding. I learn things from what people leave in my comments, right down to the person who several videos back left me a recommendation for an embroidery expert. That was great. The person who told me in the last video, hey, consider using a larger eye for Kreinik. I just want to say that was really, really helpful. So thank you, because I'd obviously figured out it worked great for me for using Whisper, but it never occurred to me to try it with Kreinik. It makes the sound of the Kreinik going through the linen so much less gross. So that is a great thing for me. Anyway, thank you so much again, and I will see you next time. Bye.